I feel like we have lost Chris Whittingham and Mike Ryan, that they're not paying attention to what it is that we're doing. It's rare for televisions to be on during our show with live sporting event, and they care very deeply that Iran's good defense has given up 3 English goals already while we're watching. And we're getting complaints already, and I don't know what to do with these complaints because Meadowlark Media is covering the holy hell out of the World Cup. We have so many different things that are being done around here. We'll get to some of them in a second. But somebody writes in, God bless football was just plain offensive. Get that out of here, and don't stain your other awesome show with soccer talk again, please. Not a single one of the show's fans wants soccer coverage.
Is that guy?
Also, someone writes in, usually Witty is a voice of reason on the show, but that was the weakest and most mealy-mouthed rationalization for gleefully and willfully participating in bloody human rights abuses that I've ever heard. While I think Amin wears his hypocrisy like a Star Wars t-shirt, at least he's not trying to put a jacket on over it.
Is that guy?
You guys want to tell people how much Meadowlark Media and our show is covering the World Cup? Because it's the Morally Abhorrent podcast that Whittingham and Mike Ryan are doing. You got Cooligans. You got football with Grant Wall.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Ashley and Allie. How many things are we doing?
We've got, well, now Stugotz and Billy Gill have added a 6th.
Yeah.
Because we have Ashton Harris and Ali Krieger are doing their show. We also are co-producing a podcast with Apple with Brendan Hunt of Ted Lasso and Rebecca Lowe. So that's 5. And then Stugotz, Billy, Chris Cody, and Greg Cody on this week's episode of Stupidity did God Bless Football, which Stugotz and I have been joking about doing for about 5 months. You executed it. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. It's the podcast no one asked for, but we decided to do it anyways.
I really built up Iran's defense on God Bless Football. How's that working out for me? I'm telling you, they had a good defense coming into this tournament.
I mean, you made them sound like the 85 Bears. You did. I mean, you really did. Listen, I am shocked right now. Mike, are you shocked? Because England is playing Iran right now. I thought Iran would park the bus. I thought this would be a closer game.
I am shocked, Stugotz. I am. Who could have seen this coming? The organized Iran back line. English have been electric today. You mentioned everything that we got going on, like menu items. It's a World Cup. I think most people would afford us this during the competition.
It's like how breakfast restaurants have a bunch of eggs Benedict. That's what we have. We have a bunch of eggs Benny. You can have them different ways. You can get them with crab cake. You can get them here. It's like covering the same thing. It's all Benedict. It's all World Cup. Different types.
Well, this is the biggest sporting event in the world. There are many people who care about it. Stugotz's takes for 15 years now have been always some form of soccer is dead or 0-0 is every game. And this year he's disappointed because when he wasn't pantomiming, punting the ball right out of bounds during the break. What he was complaining about is he's like, I don't understand. These guys have been telling me. Whitty and Mike have been telling me for years. The U.S.'s young players are playing in the Premier League. They're ready for this stage, and now we get here, and I want to wrap myself in patriotism, and they have no hope about the United States soccer team.
Yeah, you guys have pumped them up for 2 years. Like, we have players playing in the good leagues. They're good. They're young. They're fast. They could, maybe present a problem for some teams in the World Cup here. And the party is here, and I've arrived, and I'm ready to celebrate this United States team, but you guys aren't. You guys seem to think they have no chance, and me, Billy, Chris, and Greg, we think they're the favorites, and they should be the favorites.
The favorites?
I mean, one of them at least. I mean,
the favorites?
I don't know a lot. I know what these guys have told me over the last 2 years about how good these kids are.
I have not told you that they're going to win the World Cup.
Competitive, maybe, though, right?
I mean, they're in a very tough group, and I think we'll learn a lot. We'll learn a lot from today's game. I think today's game, I don't think you can underestimate this game headed into it. I know it's match week 1, but this is a hugely important game for them. And I think it basically will define what the World Cup experience will look like. But you mentioned everything that we have going on. Make sure to head over to our YouTube, where Woody and I will be live from Bottled Blonde today, where the American Outlaws are having their watch party. YouTube.com/lebatard and friends. Yes, it's a lot of different eggs Benedict, as you like to put it, and everyone's going to be coming at it from a different angle. You have Grant Wall, boots on the ground in Qatar. You have the Cooligans humorous slant on things. You have Ashlyn and Allie doing their perspective on the micro-social issues that are coming out of this Qatari World Cup. I'm very interested in you former players that have competed in a World Cup, and we'll be there for the immediacy of it all, underlining the big stories of the day, and that'll be on our post-game feed on DLS. We're not carving out a new podcast for it. It'll just be a part of our post-game shows here throughout the tournament for most of the matches here, and we're very excited about it. Please afford us that. I know it's a World Cup, and usually when you've had to deal with us talking about World Cup, you're okay with it because there's not a lot going on. Trust me, a lot of NFL talk throughout the main show, too. We're going to try to keep things in different silos for you.
But, Stu, to your point about the U.S., I think today's game against Wales is essentially a 50-50. If you look at the
coin toss,
right? No, it's what it is. If you look at the world rankings, if you look at the other ways that they rate national teams, today's game is a complete and utter coin toss. And maybe you thought the U.S. would be a little bit better than a coin toss against Wales, but that their performances have not dictated that. I think a lot of the young players that have come through have met some speed bumps in their development, which is to be expected. And I honestly have no feel for how this game is going to play out today. I think what Iran is showing right now is maybe what's happening back home in their country is really affecting their ability to perform well at this tournament, because I was not expecting a 3-0 first half scoreline. But either way, I think the U.S. enters this World Cup with a ton of questions, and we don't really know how they'll go against a team that, while I think the U.S. is more talented than Wales, I think they are a better cohesive unit than the U.S. are. And so we'll see over the course of 90 minutes whether or not the U.S. can take that step up and perform well at a World Cup.
This is not a time for perspective, though.
Exactly.
This is before the first game. This is when America... You can have perspective if they lose against Wales. Before Wales, we have American pride.
Exactly.
If you don't like soccer, come on in. The water's warm.
Right.
Fake it for the next month. Put on walk into a sports bar today and just start chanting USA. I'm telling you, everyone will join
It's that kind of day.
It's fun.
It is, yeah.
Have a couple brews at 2 p.m. on a Monday. Come on. What are we doing here? If you're mad at this event right here, it's on you. It's not on the World Cup.
If you're mad now, right? If they lose to Wales, everyone's going to be mad.
Well, you really hope that they don't lay an egg over there, because this is their opportunity to grab some people. And if they win this game, I think they come out of the group. I think this game is essentially for second place right now. I think the encouraging sign is
second
in the group. Which obviously gets you to the
You guys
knockout.
know England's really good.
England's in the group.
They sort of invented the sport.
Are they in our group? I mean,
Friday.
Ever heard of 1776?
Okay.
I mean,
What is happening with God Bless Football?
I'm over there keeping them. I'm
We're
here.
taking the
I'm
United States, Dan.
Yeah.
Wait.
We're riding with them.
Chris Cody is
They
the
need
expert
support.
on God Bless.
Stugotz and Billy are just America.
On
I'm the
Thank
perspective
you.
on that podcast.
I took Ecuador yesterday. I mean, come on. I told you on the pod I was going to take Ecuador, and I took Ecuador.
So did I.
Yes.
I would like the audience to understand God Bless Football is just going to be a mockery of Whittingham
No.
and Mike Ryan.
There's
No.
a menu of Eggs Benedict everywhere, and then somewhere on our menu there's just jelly donut and Jack Daniels, and that's what God Bless Football is going to be. The point that I was trying to get to is, if you look at these rosters right now, USA and Wales, US very clearly to me has the more talented side. And that's not something that you could say in previous World Cups, that, this team actually is a more talented side than this European country. I understand it's been a long time since Wales have been into the World Cup, but they have a superstar. They're kind of built like a former U.S. team in that that they have the one older guy that has European experience that might be playing in MLS right now. You got to watch out for him. But I'm telling you, Wales are pretty organized. They know how to play, and the U.S. have really lacked an identity. I've got no idea what the starting 11 is going to look like. I know what I want it to kind of look like. This is why you play this style throughout the qualifying, is if you play an attacking game against Wales, conceivably you have the talent to win out. And that's not something that you can often say when the U.S. takes on a European side. So I'm curious to see how attacking the U.S. will be and if they'll actually lean into the talent disparity.
Forgive my ignorance here. Is the verb Wales are or Wales is?
Oh, this is an English soccer thing. So they over there describe teams as plurals. So it's England are, Wales are.
That's the way it should be.
That actually has completely ruined my ability to get is and are correctly in every other context, and I don't like that about myself.
After today's game, Dan, it will be Wales was. I mean,
Yeah!
how about that?
USA! 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 USA!
USA!
Jack and a jelly donut.
They're winning it all, Mike.